This is Sanjiv, and we are on day 13 of our 30-day challenge, live challenge on FB, Facebook, and YouTube, and other channels as well. Instagram has also joined us today. So, this is day 13, and the topic for today's live is how siblings became strangers and what no one warned you about. So, let's dive straight into it. You you were supposed to be the lifelong friends, right? But now you're strangers. What happened? You shared the crib, you shared the secrets, you shared the same parents, the same roof, the same home, the same weird family traditions. So how did it come to this point that you don't talk to each other, you don't see each other, you don't look each other in eyes? How did it get to this point? Two strangers with the same bloodline, no war, no explosion, but just silence. How did you get here? You were supposed to be the lifelong friends, right? But now you don't even know what they're going through. And the worst thing is, you don't know if they care what you are going through. And that's the heartbreak nobody talks about. Nobody, right? I've seen discussions on many other relationships, but it seems that nobody talks about the sibling relationship and the pain that people go through, you know, without even telling themselves about it. They just suffer. And that's what the aim of this channel is, to break that suffering cycle and to help you come over and come up from wherever you are in the dungeon, right? So that's why I say that this is a heartbreak that nobody talks about. And that's the heartbreak we need to talk about. So let's do it together, all right? So losing the one who was supposed to know you best is a strange grief. It's a strange grief, right? The grief of someone who is still alive, who still has your childhood in their bones, in their breath, in their blood, but not your name on their lips anymore. What happened? It's a strange grief. They were there for the broken arms and the broken hearts. They saw you cry for your first loss. They cheered you on during that final exam, right? They knew the old version of you, and yet somewhere along the line, along the way, that thread of knowing unraveled. Now birthdays come and go, life events pass unmentioned, and they are no longer your even emergency contact. It's not just a loss of that relationship, okay? It's a loss of what could have been. And you know what's the scary part? That most of us don't even realize it's happening until the silence has settled so deep in our life. It is so deep to deny it, right? It has settled in too deep to deny. And that is the scary part. Not being aware that this is happening to you. And one day it just happens. and you don't realize that this has been a build up for so long, and you were not even aware that this was happening. So this is something that needs its own space. It needs to be discussed, it needs to be talked about, right? What if you are on that track? Maybe it can help you. Discussion like this, participating in a discussion like this, watching videos like this could potentially help you save that relationship, right? So before we move any further, let's do our grounding ritual that we always do, and we'll call it the anchor in the love that once was. All right. So take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, close your eyes for a moment, and breathe in. Breathe out from mouth. One breath in again, and out through your mouth. And now bring one good memory in your mind. One one beautiful one goofy, one scared sibling memory, whatever that is. Let it come up. Feel that for a second, because that is why it hurts. That is why it hurts. Because love was there, and maybe in some form it still is. You have not lost it, it's still there. You are just not aware of it. And that's the whole point of this discussion. So continue taking the deep breath and say softly, I honor the bond that once was, and I remain open to healing. I honor the bond that once was, and I'm open to healing. So, most sibling estrangements aren't dramatic, right? It's drifting. That's what it is. And here's what no one warned us about. Most sibling estrangements, I would say most sibling estrangement doesn't happen because of a single event. We talked about it a few lives ago also, that it's not about a single event that it happens. It happens over a period of time through emotional erosion, as what we would call it, right? Emotional erosion. It's not that you stop loving them. It's that you stop reaching, right? And they stop reaching too. It's both ways. And one day becomes a week becomes a month, and suddenly you don't remember the last real conversation you had. The distance feels like protection, right? But it's really just a delay, right? Delay of something that needs to be faced, delay of something that needs to be felt. delay of something that needs to be said, delay of something that needs to be heard, right? That's what it is. So today, let's turn towards it together. Okay? So let's take a look at three insights from this discussion that we're aiming at. So, insight number one, that sibling roles can actually trap you in the old versions of yourself. That's what usually happens. So sibling roles can actually trap you in the old versions of yourself. For example, right, the responsible one. There are people in the kids who are tagged as the responsible one, or the black sheep, right? The emotional one, like I was, right? The golden child. All these terms you will see in the sibling estrangement world. These are just the tags, and we will talk about these tags and why these tags, the fact that these tags even exist, um, by all these psychologists and psychologist world. They put these tags, and they when you come across a tag like this and you place it on one of your siblings, it has a psychological impact on you, that you can never remove that tag mentally and emotionally from them, and somehow it sticks to them forever. And that relationship that could have had the opportunity to improve does not improve because you label your siblings, your brother, your sister, with one of these tags, right? Or one of the tags that we'll talk about later in one of our lives. But these here we are only talking about the roles, right? And these roles are valid. They come as a part of the history or a part of the family that you are in, right? So you could be termed as a responsible one, or an emotional one, or a golden child who is always, um, you know supported by the family. And we inherit these roles early, right? And then we somehow lock each other inside them. So when we grow up, we don't see the human in front of us. We see the labels, right? We see the tags. We don't see a brother, we don't see a sister. We see the label that was put on them by us, by family, or whoever placed that label on them. We only see those labels. And that's where the problem is. You don't allow them to grow beyond the label, while you say, okay, I have grown, but you don't allow them to grow beyond that label. And that's where, even though you at some point in time be able to come together, but you don't see this version of them, and you see the label version of them, which is down here, and they do not like it, they do not appreciate it. And therefore, what could have been an opportunity to meet here, you just fall short of it because you see a label that was put here. So I hope it makes sense. The fact that we put labels on our siblings is the reason why we have such a hard time connecting with them. Get rid of them. Get rid of the labels. See them for who they are, not for the labels that you have put, right? That's the first way siblings become strangers. We outgrow our roles, right? But not each other's perceptions. So these tags, these labels are just the perceptions which were back in time that you had placed, but you continuously keep it for the rest of your life. And That's where it ends. That's where you separate from each other. That's one of the reasons, right? The other is that the love that's assumed is rarely expressed. That's another reason. We think that they know that I love them. They know that I care for them, right? We just assume. But love, when when not spoken, begins to fade. It's true. Look at any relationship, a loving relationship, right? The love that is not spoken begins to fade. Not because it's not real, it is real, but because it gets buried under the busyness of life, under the pride, under the assumptions, under the tags, right? Under the labels, whatever it is. You do get busy in life, and therefore that love sort of becomes a secondary part of your expression, and that's where it begins to fade, right? If it is, it has to be expressed appropriately at regular interval for it to maintain its freshness, right? So if you do not express it, if it's not spoken, it begins to fade. And that's one of the reasons for our separate ways. So if you haven't said it in a while, I encourage you to say it, even if it's just to yourself right now, right? I do love them. I always did. Say it to yourself. You don't have to say it to anybody else. Acknowledge it in your heart that you do love them. Express it to yourself. Only then you will have the courage to express to others also. You have to acknowledge that love within you first, and then you can express it. That helps to grow love. That helps to grow bonding, right? That helps to grow connection. That's how you grow togetherness. Express that love, right? The third thing, we think the time will heal it, but in reality the time is just the it just hardens it, right? We think that the time will heal it, but time actually hardens it. It gets let so let's get real about it, right? Time is not a healer. People say that time will heal. Well, in a way it will, because you will tend to forget things. But time is not a healer. It is actually a magnifier, right? It either deepens the bond or it deepens the wound, right? Every year that passes by in silence makes reconnection harder. So it's not true that the time will heal. Every year that passes by in silence, people tend to become hard over time. They find it difficult to reconnect, and it makes the connection harder. The time makes the connection harder. If you have been too long in separation, the connection does become hard, because now it's not just about the issue anymore. It's also about the time lost, and it's about the awkwardness. It's about the perhaps the shame of not trying sooner. Whatever it is, time can create more barriers, right, over time, if you do not express yourself soon enough. I mean, it should not be immediately after the problem also. Give it a time, but not that much time that you feel, okay, separation is going to heal me and I'm going to be fine. You are never going to be fine, okay? You will always have that pinch in you that you have lost something some valuable part of your life. You will always have it, whether you deny it, whether somebody tells you it's okay, whether you go for to the doctor, to the psychiatrist, and they try to treat you, get you out of it. You will always, always, always have this bond, the connection, because it is eternal. It is always going to call you. If you don't believe me, wait till the end of your life and look back. Be my guest. Okay? So, time doesn't heal, it can harden whatever you are carrying. So, instead of carrying harshness, carry love in your heart, right? Carry positive intention in your heart, carry blessings in your heart, right? Carry faith in your heart, because that is what the time will multiply. If you carry hatred in your heart, it will multiply that hatred. You will feel that it has actually, you know, recovered. You have recovered, but you have not recovered. It is multiplying internally in your subconscious mind. And when the time comes, so you must have seen, right? People go their own ways for years together, and they feel okay, everything is fine now, but they dread coming together on on um, on a vacation, let's say, right? Or on a celebration like Christmas. So why would that happen? Why would you dread connecting with each other or being in presence of each other after being away from each other for so long? If time actually heals, time does not heal. It gives you an impression that it heals. Time only multiplies what you're carrying. So be aware of what you're carrying inside your heart. Okay? So so let this moment be your reset, all right? Not when enough time has passed, but because it already has. Okay? So let's get real about it. So now let's move on to the transition to the soul questions, right? For today. And let's pause here. Let's not rush past what this brings up in you or for you. Let's feel it together, and let's ask this question, um, with the intention that we actually want to find the solution to the issue that we are experiencing in our heart, in our mind, in our energy, right? So let's look at these questions. And I hope that you have been doing these questions, writing these questions and the answers, to the best of your ability, to and with honesty, utmost honesty, because like we said, this is the only way you will become closer to what you are carrying. And once you objectively look at it, your energy will automatically tell you whether it is in alignment with the vision that you have for that relationship or not. If not, the fact that you have brought it to your mind's awareness, it'll just snap out of your experience. It will. It'll seem that it is such a foolish thing to carry in your energy, that your energy will automatically drop that belief, drop that thought. Once you do these exercises with the purity of your heart, with proper positive intention, right? With honesty. That's the basic requirement for you to derive the best from these lives. Okay? So let's look at these soul questions. Question number 1: what role were you locked into as a sibling? What role were you locked into as a sibling? Were you an emotional one? Were you a golden child? Were you a responsible one? What were you? What did your family call you? Right? Question 2. When did you first notice the silence between you growing? Right? When did you first experience the silence that was growing between you and your siblings? When did you first experience it? And third, what have you been waiting for that you could actually give? Right? What have you been waiting for that you could actually give? So, a lot of times we wait for, let's say, love, but we hold on to the love that we have in our heart. We want the other person to love us, but we don't want to take that first step. Well, we talked about that creation is a mirror. You have to take that first step, and then the response will be initiated by the universe, right? The world is your mirror. So, what have you been waiting for that you could actually give? If you don't intend to give, there's the other energy with the same intent not to give, right? If you are not willing to understand anybody, how do you expect others to understand you? If you're not willing to let go of the judgments towards them, how do you expect them to let go of the judgments towards you? Right? If you're not ready to give them with the purity of your heart the love that they deserve, how do you expect them to give the positive treatment to you in their life? Right? So you have to be clear about that whatever you are waiting for is something that you actually have to give out first. So that's why this third question exists. What have you been waiting for that you could actually give? Right? So let these questions move something in you. I know it will move because if you do it with honesty, things will stir in your heart, in your energy. They will happen. And that's what I want you to explore. So let these questions stir that emotion, stir that feeling, stir that sensation in you, in your body, right? And then become aware of it. Notice it, jot it down, write it. So that's how you grow in your awareness. So let these questions move that thing in you, right? Maybe even soften something. Maybe there are some things that are hard in you. Maybe these questions will soften those, right? But you will only have that opportunity to experience it once you do these exercises or answer these questions with honesty. Do them, please. All right. So so now let's move on to the practice, right? The micro transformation practice that we do towards the end of our life. And today we are going to write a bridge letter, right? A bridge letter. It's not a message you send, of course, right? It's not to be sent, at least not yet. It's just a letter from your heart to their heart, right? It's the energy transference. The energy that you have, you are passing that energy to their heart. And you want to pass the energy of the intention, the the thoughts that you have for them from the depth and the purity of your heart. So that's why I say this is a letter from your heart to theirs, right? So tell them everything. Tell them what you miss, right? What you wish they understood, right? What part of you still hopes. That is, this is not about blame. Let me tell you this, okay? So it's not about blame, it's about expressing yourself fully to another soul with an awareness that you are talking to their heart and they will listen to you from their heart or with their heart, right? Don't form an impression that when you say this, they are going to fire back at you. No, they are not there. That's why we are not sending this letter directly to them. We are sending this letter to their heart. Okay? So you are in total control here. What you send, and pay attention to what you are writing, because that will give you a glimpse into what your beliefs are, what your own assumptions are, right? Where you have been thinking what you should not be thinking, where you have been feeling what perhaps was never to be felt at all. Maybe a judgment, right? So, whatever it is, write it down with the purity of your heart and then share it with the purity of your heart with their heart, with no judgment, with no blame. It's, remember, it's about building the bridge back to yourself first, right? You need to build that bridge back to yourself and then reconnect with them. Because sometimes the first step is reconnecting. In reconnecting is remembering who you were with them, right? When they were, when they were still whole, right? When, before the split, before the separation, before the things that actually tore you apart, how were you with them, or how were they with you? There was a moment you loved them, right? There was a moment they loved you. Imagine that time. Imagine that stories that you were sharing. Imagine the laugh, right? Imagine the food that you were having. Imagine the games, the play that you were playing. Imagine the movies that you were watching. Imagine the places that you went to together. Just live those things. Get to the level of higher vibration and then share whatever comes to your mind, to your heart. And like I said in the last live, energy travels with intent. Wherever you send that energy, it is going to go there. Today you send it to their heart. Their heart will receive it, and it'll do what it needs to do with that information. Okay? So do your part. Don't wait for them to their part. Do your part first. All right? So I don't know what we are going to talk about tomorrow. I haven't decided or thought about it, but it is definitely going to be in alignment with whatever needs to be the following live for today, after today. I don't know what it is. So I honestly have no idea what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow, but it will be something that will definitely help, as hopefully all these lives have been helpful, right? So we are going to end today's live today, right now, at this point. And like I said, like I always say, if you like, if this live stirred anything in you, right, help you in any way, like this, drop drop a memory or a thought in for today's live that surfaces for you, right? Share it with us. Share this with someone who needs to know that they're not alone, right? And like I say, join the Healing Sibling Bonds Facebook group and YouTube channel. And the Simplified Relations website is still being worked on. So there may be some links that may not be working. So bear with me till till you actually see what will be the final output. And in this group, let me tell you that we don't pretend, right? We don't sugarcoat anything. We heal, right? That's the whole point. We heal with honesty, with courage, and with hope, right? So so tell me what tools, what rituals or topics would be helpful um, for you most, right? So that's why I say let's build this together. um, Anything that you think is going to be much more helpful for you to move forward in your relationship, wherever you feel stuck, let me know. Let me lend you a helping hand if there is any way I can, right? So let's grow together and build the bridges together. And remember, always remember the word hope. And that stands for, I hope you know it now, help one person every day. Help one person every day. So let today's person be you, okay? And tomorrow be your sibling. Let it be this way. But hope, okay? So this is where we'll end it. And have a great evening, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Let me know whether you were able to catch it live or in a replay, right? Tell me where you are from in the world in the comments, and share whatever comes to your heart after watching this live. Okay? Have a good night, and namaste, everyone.